college football. Big matchup of the day tomorrow, getting going at 5 o'clock. Indiana, Ohio State, number 1 and 2 teams in the country. Ohio State open as 5.5-point favorites, have been bet down to only 4. The support is furnished by Genuine.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone. Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Into the Fletch Zone.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
The NFL weekend starts in Motown.
They give it to Jameer. Run it outside. Got a blocker. Down to the 10. To the 5. To the end zone. Wave to him. He's gone, baby. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Lions get back on track. Conference championships will be decided, and we could find out where San Diego State will go bowling. Plus, the King gets shut down in Toronto. Let's get this weekend started from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. A busy weekend coming up here on San Diego Sports 760. We'll have the Big Ten Championship for you coming up tomorrow. Going to be a fun one here on San Diego Sports 760 today. Couple guests joining the show. Steve Hartman will be by for his usual Friday chat, where he may have been spot on last week with something we all made fun of him for. There might not be a good team in the NFL this year. It's just all a bunch of pretty good. Dave Denholm, who's the play-by-play voice of LAFC, will be jumping on today as well to kind of preview and look back on the season that was for SDFC, plus look forward to the World Cup, which we have found out where Team USA will be playing and who they will be playing against, at least in the first round of the World Cup, the group stage. So lots of fun to happen, but we're going to start with Thursday Night Football from last night. The Detroit Lions win 44-30. I do believe, Sammy Long, that is an over, and that is a Detroit Lions covering up the spread. You owe me a burrito.
Credit.
We had a burrito bet on that, boy.
Well, we've had like 20 burrito bets, and no one's actually bought a burrito for the other one. So we can add it to the list that we have to go back. But yes, I will get you a burrito. I got to give you credit on the game. You called it the over hit. Lions looked very good. Interesting game. Like CeeDee Lamb goes out in it, but I got to give the Lions a lot of credit. They did look good, and if they play like that, they're a legit threat. But again, they're probably going on the road. So are they able to have that kind of offensive production on the road? I guess it remains to be seen.
What was impressive to me, and look, in the second half, defenses just got thrown out the window. But in the first half, Detroit was really able to limit Dallas's offense, which has been on fire so far this year. In fact, without Dallas's kicker, who's been tremendous all year, I don't know that Dallas puts up a point in the first half. But on the Detroit side, they were able to score. They were able to score a ton behind Jahmyr Gibbs, who had 3 touchdowns on the night once again. The guy is just having a season for the ages. He's pushing Jonathan Taylor right now for a potential offensive player of the year nod. And it's been cool to see when Detroit is clicking on all gears. You feel like, oh, that's the team we were projecting from the beginning of the season who could belong in the Super Bowl from the NFC side. We just haven't seen it consistently enough all year. They had a stat on the broadcast last night, Sammy. I'm curious if you saw this. When Jahmyr Gibbs scores a touchdown this year for the Lions, they are undefeated. In games where he doesn't score a touchdown this year, they're only defeated. So that team really has gone as Jahmyr Gibbs goes. And if you're Dan Campbell, credit to you, because last night, pretty much something we talked about on our show, Sammy, I said, lean on your backs. You have the best tandem in the league. You might as well use them. And on a night where Amon-Ra St. Brown was questionable, but he comes in and immediately makes an impact, Dan Campbell really committed to the run. And Jahmyr Gibbs has 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery had 1. That's the version of Detroit that's going to be a really tough out for anybody in the NFC playoffs if they make it. Currently, they're still on the outside looking in.
Well, to that end, they really are a run-first team, and I think people that got lost a little bit last year because you have Amon-Ra St. Brown as one of the best receivers in football. Jamison Williams has certainly broke out. It was one of the best, if not the best, number 2 in football. That could be debated. I mean, you have weapons everywhere. And then with Ben Johnson last year, you had this great, like amazing, innovative game plan with all these trick plays, and the passing attack going downfield was unbelievable. But yes, at their heart, the Detroit Lions, when they're best, is a run-first football team. And then Goff off the play action. I'm not reserving Goff to being a play action quarterback because he is a damn good quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl, but then they become lethal. This team will go as far as the defense takes them, because I think you saw Give them credit for that first half. Second half, they started giving up a lot. The pass rush is there. The secondary is a little bit worrisome. And Dallas put up 30 points, and they didn't have CeeDee Lamb for essentially half of that game.
When they were putting up points, CeeDee Lamb was not on the field.
Right. So that was a little concerning, but again, very good win for them in Detroit. Again, it kind of goes back to the AFC. Like the NFC is, the Packers or the Bears are going to be a wild card team. Your Niners probably going to be a wild card team. The Lions, hell, the Cowboys are probably done, but they're not totally out of it. Like there is a lot of wild card teams in the NFC that when you look at Philly, even if the Packers win the division, I don't really buy the Packers. Of all the teams at the top, the only team I think you consistently look at and go, yes, they are the deserved favorite, would be the Rams. Even the Seahawks kept questions.
Unless the Rams lose to the Arizona Cardinals this week, then all of a sudden everything gets thrown out the window once again. The Rams just lost to the Panthers. You're telling me the Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett can't take them down? It's definitely possible, but we'll see. The NFL's been pure chaos this year. I joked about the Steve Hartman thing, but what he said last week is kind of proven itself to be true. When you think about it and just don't think about, oh, Steve said there's no good teams in the NFL, yada, yada, yada. No, what he's saying is the parity in this league is at an all-time high. In the classic superpowers of the last 7 or 8 years, and I would include the Lions in that for the last 5 years, they're not superpowering right now. Like the Rams look like the most complete team in football, but they also look like they can be had. We saw that Thursday night game against the Niners, who were completely banged up. We saw that performance a week ago against the Carolina Panthers. So I don't know. The Patriots are the team who's looked most consistently good all season long.
I do think
they got a quarterback we don't know if we can trust in the postseason.
Just because I do think the Rams still are. Just because they lose to Carolina needed that game, keep their playoff hopes alive after getting beat by the Niners on Monday Night Football. The Rams, throughout the entire season, in my estimation, has been the most consistent and best team because, to what you just said, the Patriots look great. We've never seen Drake May in a playoff game. So it's hard for a lot of people to sit here and go, okay, Drake May's going to the Super Bowl. He very well might. That's not a shot to the Patriots, but you could just as easily see a Drake May, a Bo Nix, a Daniel Jones, one of these guys putting up a clunker in the first round, whereas at least the Rams have probably the best blend of a team who's been there before. One, a veteran quarterback who you know is not going to get scared in a big moment, as well as a super talented roster.
All right, I will say we've had a lot of fun the last couple of days with YouTube-only comments with just the talkback mic.
We're back.
Sammy Long, I'm going to give him a lot of credit, something I rarely do. Sammy Long has been pushing pavement. He has been going door to door. He has figured out a way to get the text line back and activated, and we are back. So 70470, start your message with the word team. Fun way to interact with the show. I know a lot of people have been missing it. Of course, YouTube is still there at San Diego Sports 760. The talkback mic will always be there. So when you listen on the free iHeartRadio app, add us to your presets. You'll see a little red microphone button in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You can talk to that. It comes directly to our computers. We can play it back on the air. We'd love to hear from you today. But the text line is back, which is probably the easiest way to get in touch with us. So 70470. Start your message with team. We'll read them as the show goes on. Sammy, it is time for your first big three of the day where you rip through the top stories in the world of sports. So without further ado, let's freaking smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, Shammy, where are we going today?
Real quick, I was looking back at old texts on the Mondays after the Chiefs have lost, and people were very kind. Very kind.
Doubt it.
That's what we got to miss. I told you yesterday, there's a conspiracy going around that I took the text line down. That is not true, but feel free to give us your thoughts. 70470, start your message with team. We've missed you all on the text line. Now it's back. All right, Steelers-Ravens, very fun game this weekend on Sunday, both 6-6. The winner going to be in the driver's seat for the AFC North. Who is more, though, disappointing overall if they don't make the playoffs this season, considering they're both 6-6 and have an equal shot to do it?
It's got to be the Ravens, right? Look, Aaron Rodgers is a fun storyline, and I don't think he's been the biggest problem for the Steelers this year. But the Ravens were talked about this offseason as a potential Super Bowl champion. The Ravens were talked about as having one of the current top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. If the Ravens miss out on the postseason in general, that is a massive disappointment that could lead to some organizational and head coaching changes. So it's the Ravens, without a doubt. Like the Tomlin era feels like it's on the downturn in Pittsburgh, not necessarily to any fault of his own. But with Aaron Rodgers, with the defense that's underperforming expectations, the Steelers, you could kind of see this coming. With the Ravens, nobody saw this coming.
I'm with you on the Ravens because the Ravens have a higher ceiling in the postseason. I think Pittsburgh is, we know what they are. Like their offense is, frankly, metrically, it's garbage. Like it's been what it's been. It's only Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf and Jalen Warren a little bit. They don't have a high ceiling. The Ravens, if they get in, despite all the injuries on defense, could be a threat. I know Lamar has not looked good the last couple weeks. His passer rating's been down. He still looks injured, not running quite as much. But if he gets healthy, we could also be sitting here in a couple months going, is anyone surprised the Ravens won multiple playoff games and are playing in the AFC title game? But I will say Pittsburgh will probably have more changes if they don't make the playoffs. I think at the end of the day, Harbaugh will be back. Obviously, Lamar is going to be back. They're going to chalk this up to a bad season that got started off on the wrong foot with a couple of really close losses. Derrick Henry fumbles in that Lions game and the Bills game. They're probably going to run it back next year and still be a favorite in the AFC. Whereas if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, I think Mike Tomlin's assuredly fired. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. Are they going for a quarterback? I think there's a lot more changes that will happen if Pittsburgh doesn't make it. But I am with you. I think in terms of a playoff picture, the Ravens not making it is a much bigger deal.
It's everyone's favorite time of the day. 69 people on the stream. What up, everybody? Happy Friday, huh? Sammy,
on a Friday.
What's next, Sammy?
Let's go to the NBA. Big story.
Damn it, we're up to 71. 2 people drop off, please.
Two people sold it. LeBron's run of 1,297 consecutive double-digit games, or double-digit score. Team scoring in the double digits, comes to an end last night. Has the game-winning assist on the Rui buzzer beater as the Lakers beat the Raptors 123-120. Are you concerned about his lack of scoring and think he's on the downturn? Or are you more impressed with the passing role on this team?
LeBron's washed. We can all just get over it at this point. No, but that is kind of the narrative that's going around today. I'm not. I think that this is... predictable is not the right word, but if there was going to be a year in the last few that this game was going to happen, it is this season. Look, the Lakers have options. They got people now who could score the rock, and I actually, in a weird way, am proud of LeBron James because of what you just said, Sammy. He does end up with a game-winning assist last night because LeBron does understand that this is a young man's game, and he's made it his game for as long as humanly possible, but he's clearly lost a step. He clearly is not the same player anymore. And he's clearly still dealing with a little bit of the sciatica or whatever the injury is. So for LeBron James to not force it down the stretch of last night's game, I'm actually kind of impressed and actually kind of proud of LeBron. Is it true that it's been since the George W. Bush administration?
Yes, 2007.
That's kind of crazy.
It's an insane stat.
So it's a BO before Obama.
Before Obama, George W.
LeBron has been in double digits since BO.
I was impressed last night because he was not having a good game. Went 4-17 from the field, I believe. He didn't have it last night offensively. He hasn't really had it since he's come back. Maybe that's the sciatica. Maybe he's just kind of losing it down the stretch. But his passing has been unbelievable. 11 assists last night. It did feel like I was watching my family. I'm like, this is poetic. Like if he comes down, he takes the final shot, he hits it. He's going to keep the streak alive. The Lakers going to win the game. That was impressive, him giving that up, because I promise you the other way, if LeBron had taken that shot, missed it, there would be a lot of different tone nationally about how that game went last night. So I got to give LeBron a lot of props. And he said at the post game, they asked if he was bummed about the streak. He's like, no, we won the game. Like that's
I will say, here, Sammy, you'll love this. On our rundown over on the Rock Show this morning, Travis Dale wrote in it. I want to read this word for word. LeBron's an effing loser, and he sucks now. First non-double-digit scoring game since 07. That's TV,
Travis
everybody.
Dale. Travis Dale, speaking his mind. But all right, let's head on to story number 3. Let's get to college football championship weekend. A lot going on. Ohio State, Indiana. Big Ten championship. You hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Number 1 Ohio State taking on number 2 Indiana. Fletch, is this a preview of the national championship in a month?
Man, it sure seems like it could be. I liked what our guy Pete Futak had to say yesterday about Notre Dame, saying keep an eye on them because that is one of those teams that could unseat Indiana as that clear number 2 team in the country heading into the college football postseason. But I think we'll learn a lot from this game, Sammy, because this should be best on best. Bring out your entire game plan. Because will this determine if Indiana wins this game? Would they be the 1 seed in the college football?
They'll be
playoff?
the 1 seed. They're both going to be in. They probably both will have buys unless if Indiana got slaughtered by like 30, then there might be a conversation that they're not in the top 4. But they both will be in. Both will probably have buys.
But this is the time, man. You're going to throw everything at it, and so I think we learn a lot tomorrow. Again, you'll hear that game here on 760, and I think Julian Sayin has a statement game that he has the ability to make right now as the best college football quarterback.
Well, that's the other storyline of this game is if you follow the Heisman, if you're into the Heisman vote, well, the top 2 guys are Sayin and Mendoza, and they're playing each other on Saturday. So you figure the winner of this game is probably going to be getting the Heisman. So there's that piece of it.
Do we know anyone with a Heisman vote?
There might be a guy on our show coming up at 1:30 called Steve Hartman that might have a Heisman vote.
John Schaefer does also.
Schaefer. Oh, we haven't asked Schaefer who's picking. But in terms of the game, Indiana has questions. They've never been here before. Like, they haven't had these kind of expectations ever as a football program. They went on the road and beat Oregon this year, so a lot of props to them. Mendoza's going to be the number 1 overall pick, but we're going to see if they're going to be able to do it. This game probably means more to them than it does Ohio State, who's coming off a win against Michigan, going to be the favorite for the national championship, even if they lose this game. But on the Ohio State side, their best win was Texas by 7, and they destroyed Michigan, which I give them props. But if you look at their schedule, they've been number 1 the entire time. If you actually look at their resume, they don't have one of the best resumes in college football. So I believe they are the best team in the country. But if they lose this game, the questions are going to arise. Are they really the best team in the country, or were they just number 1 the whole time because they beat a number 1 ranked Texas before the season began?
I like it. It's going to be fun. Listen to that game tomorrow right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, coming up next, Sammy and I have been learning soccer. We've been doing our best this year. We watched the entire season of SDFC. Man, was that fun and a blast. Well, now we have more soccer to learn because the World Cup is coming to the United States, and we just found out some big information. We'll give it to you on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. It's number 1 versus number 2 with the Big Ten title on the line tomorrow night when Ohio State battles Indiana. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 4:45 tomorrow night. I realize no one gets why I said Indiana except for me. There's 2 N's in the liner copy that I was given. So that's a me joke. And we'll just
fun little tidbit.
Yeah, just Indiana. Maybe they should change their name. That kind of sounds cool.
I kind of like it, yeah.
All right, we got a Friday here today, so fun will ensue. In fact, on YouTube already, comments flying in. Our buddy Tyler saying, it's Friday.
Big Ty.
What up, Ty? And Rich says, Sammy was right about Goff not getting sacked only once. Yeah, and it happened right at the beginning of the game.
When I saw it, I was like, damn, man. I was like, what? And then it actually came through. I appreciate that, Rich.
It happened right at the beginning of the game. All right, on the text line, which is back, by the way, 70470. Start your message with team. 619 says, oh, Sammy been ducking.
thinking I'm shutting down the text line because of my Chiefs.
It's not.
That's what the rumor is.
I mean, it's possible. 858-LFGGGGG. We back. Sammy, let us follow you on Prize Picks so we can tail your lineups easily if we miss long shots.
Beautiful. Done.
Now, Prize Picks currently is doing nothing with me personally, but I still love the app and I use it all the time. And I actually think my promo code still works. So promo code Fletch if you want to get 50 free bucks. But they're not paying for this right now. And I will tell you, Prize Picks just made some changes. Sammy, did you notice this?
Yes.
You can start now. It's not actual like bet slips. It's different. I think
it's genius.
Yeah, it's you're purchasing a contract is what it's called.
God, I love lawyers.
And you can purchase a contract on money lines, on spreads,
on point totals,
So check that out. But yeah, I do think there's a social component. So Sammy, figure out what your handle is on Prize Picks.
I will give that up. And yes, I was the greatest. Tyler, actually, one of our listeners, sent me a DM on Instagram, and I was like, what? And I opened it, and it was that. It's so they got around it basically by saying they're making statements like the Chiefs will win by 3 or 3.5 points or more, which is the spread in Vegas, and you say yes or no. Genius, getting around gambling. So yes, Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, all of them. Whoever wants to pay us, we're open for business. Fletch and I.
Well, I still like Prize Picks. I think we're in the middle of talking about 2026 right now with Prize Picks.
Okay,
so
well then, yeah, maybe Prize Picks.
You know, if a bunch of people wanted to sign up like right now and use promo code Fletch, that would probably help out a lot.
I'm just saying, if there's a highest bidder, Prize Picks are my. We're still on the market. If that's what you're saying?
I love those people over there. I have as much fun playing the app as they have running the company. I've told you that a million times. 858. Oh, how the world has changed since I last texted into the hottest sports hotline in the land. I'm convinced Sammy just didn't pay the phone bill because his long shots haven't been paying out. Hashtag Sammy short shots.
Oh, short shots.
Oh, the smack is being talked. All right,
858. I'm glad you're back on the text line. 858.
In 5 minutes, we are going to be chatting with Dave Denholm, who this is his first appearance on this show. He's actually the play-by-play voice of LAFC. He also hosts a podcast about LAFC, but he's an expert in the world of soccer. And the World Cup, the draw happened this morning in Washington, D.C. So if you're not aware, June of next year, June of 2026, North America is hosting the World Cup, which means USA is guaranteed a spot in the World Cup. And so we're in, and we just got our group. So it's Paraguay, it's Australia, and it's the United States of America who are already in the group. And then there's a UEFA playoff featuring Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo to determine who that fourth team in the group is.
I'm curious. We're going to talk to Denholm in a minute, but I reading up on it because it just happened an hour ago. Right. They're talking about how this is actually a great group for America because that fourth place team that's coming in, they're going to be massive favorites against. The first game will be against Paraguay.
It sounds like the United States dodged a lot of bullets, and this is like the most favorable spot for them to land, and that's nice considering they're hosting.
Apparently Italy, because they haven't qualified yet, but Italy obviously is a massive soccer brand and has been for years and decades, was the one wild card that no one wanted in their group because they kind of distinguish it between 4 different groups. They rank you in tiers called pots, and no one wanted Italy to be the last team in their group because that would have added another really tough component. So hopefully America can show out here on home soil a little bit.
If you can't tell, Sammy and I watched a YouTube video explaining how the World Cup works, and now we feel like geniuses. So we're talking to an actual genius coming up in a few minutes about this kind of stuff, but what pertains to me and Sammy when it comes to the World Cup, is why regular sports bettors should bet on soccer, as well as the other stuff that they do. So here's what ChatGPT told me. You ready for this, Sammy?
Let's hear it.
Apparently, the lines in soccer are way softer than NFL/NBA spreads because books in the United States put most of their sharpest resources into football and basketball. Soccer lines, especially in leagues outside of the EPL, can lag behind from injuries or tactical changes, so you can find edges before the lines move in soccer a little bit easier. And the betting menu is enormous and more creative. Soccer will offer styles of wagers you simply don't get in other major sports, including the three-way money line.
Yes.
I didn't know what this was until today, and I like it a lot because it's not just, so Lions last night were 3.5-point favorites, so easy enough. You take the Lions to win either on the money line, and that's going to be worse odds, or you take a -3.5, which should have been even odds last night. But in soccer, win, lose, or draw.
Right, and so even if you win in a shootout, because in the World Cup, not in the group stage, you have to keep going. If you're drew after 90 minutes, you can bet on that. So what?
Is drew the right word for that?
I don't know. They know what I'm saying.
Tied?
But so like even the best teams, you can actually get who should be massive favorites because in other sports there aren't any ties or draws. You still have plus money. So there's a lot of money to be made.
And what's also cool about this is you could take two of those options. So like in horse racing, you could pick, I'm betting on this person to finish in the top 3. You know how you can do that?
Yeah.
So in soccer, you could take, I'm picking Team USA to win or draw. You know what I mean? And you can put money as both options.
Last World Cup at the book, 96% of America, when the U.S. played Iran, was on America because everyone's betting on the home team on home soil. U.S. won as dogs, and it actually cost Vegas a ton of money because they thought it was going to be a draw. Because everyone had the home cooking betting. The public was eating good over the weekend.
Man, I'm excited about this. So SoFi is going to be hosting some games, and MetLife is going to be hosting some games. There's one other stadium. I want to say Phoenix.
There's a couple. Kansas City is, Miami is. There's a bunch. I believe Seattle is.
No, there's only 3 in the United States. Those might be qualifiers, but MetLife, SoFi, and AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, and then Estadio Azteca, BC Place in Vancouver, and a bunch of other places.
The finals in New York, right? I believe the finals in MetLife.
Finals at MetLife. Some of the bigger games will be at SoFi, and then the ones in Canada and Mexico, the Estadio Azteca, which is where the football game was a couple years ago with the Cardinals. So all that's still to come. We're going to talk to an expert about it coming up next. His name is Dave Denholm. You'll hear from him on the other side at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Lakers are getting a big win over the Toronto Raptors on a Rui Hachimura buzzer beater. Will be back tonight taking on the Celtics in Boston at 4 o'clock. The Lakers will be without LeBron and Luka Doncic. Austin Reeves will be building off his 44-point night last night. And championship weekend in college football. BYU Texas Tech playing for the Big 12 championship at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and the big one of the day, Indiana Ohio State at 5 o'clock. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find so many holiday essentials, all for under $25. With new arrivals every day, you never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at macy'sbackstage.com.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. And by the way, coming up in about 10 minutes, a brand new Long Shots. The cold streak continues, but today that turns around. I got a good feeling about it. Sammy's going to give us out a payer later on. Right now, though, Dave Denholm, the play-by-play voice of LAFC, the host of the LAFC Plus podcast, joins us on the line. Dave, this is our first time chatting with you. How are you, man?
Ben, Sammy, how you guys doing?
We're doing good out here in San Diego. Before we get to the World Cup, which some pretty significant news today, Dave, I was wondering your thoughts. Obviously, play-by-play voice of LAFC, your thoughts on what San Diego FC was able to do this year in their inaugural season.
I hate them. Bunch of scumbags. No, I'm kidding, of course. But no, I mean, they took care of business, no doubt about it. They were the best team, really most of the season, if not all the season in the West record-wise. I thought they had a good run. I mean, I thought they got about as far as they could. So kudos to them for that, and they got a lot to build on. Again, it's going to be a great rivalry. I do really kind of sports hate them. So that's I guess a good sign in a way, because you want to become relevant as fast as possible as an expansion team in any sport. And boy, they did. There's no doubt about that. They certainly have a lot to build on. They have a great academy. You guys know that. They're building from the ground up. So really impressive job, no doubt. But yeah, they got about as far as they could for a first-year team. And there's no disrespect there. They played very well throughout the season. Really impressive.
Man, I was thinking all year long while I was watching SDFC games, really paying attention to the MLS for the first time in my professional career, who was going to be our David Vassay of soccer. And Sammy, I think we found him. Same tone when it comes to anything San Diego sports. Dave, I don't know if you know this. You just opened up a whole can of worms, man. Expect our phone calls a lot next soccer season. But
Can I just tell you something? Don't you dare ever compare me to David Vassay again. The youngster was my producer when I was probably about your age, fellas, way back in the day. And back on the old, this is a long time ago, Extra Sports 1150. The youngster was one of our producers from very early on there. So that's my nickname for him, of course. But Dave's had a great run, no doubt about it. Love David Vassay. So it's an honor to be compared to him. No problem.
Dave, dude, it's been forever. It's so great to hear your voice, man. But looking at the World Cup draw, the United States get Australia, Paraguay, and then the winner of a few teams, Romania, Slovakia, Kosovo, and Turkey. What do you make of that group? How far do you think America can go in the World Cup this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about it is everybody always kind of overreacts to the draw in a sense that you're looking, this is a tough group. This is an easy group. Look, anybody can beat the United States on any given day, but the United States can beat literally anyone else on any given day. That's the kind of team we are. So, yeah, I mean, is the draw favorable just by looking at it on paper? Yeah, I would say it was a good day that way, but you still got to go out and take care of business against these teams. Any one of them, and it depends on who comes out of that UEFA playoff, as you mentioned, any one of the three can beat us, but we can also beat anybody in the tournament. I mean, the United States can, to answer your second question, they can make a deep run in this tournament. I think they're really coming together under Mauricio Pochettino, and I think he's starting to get a real good feel for what he has, which is maybe more important. The manager really has taken a look at a lot of players throughout this build-up. Of course, we didn't have to qualify, which is it's a huge thing, but it's also a bit of a disadvantage in terms of you don't get those kind of, really important matches building up to the tournament. So all the games they played are quote unquote friendlies, but he's really starting to figure out what he has with this group. And I think this team can make a deep run. I really do.
Dave Denholm joining us. He's actually the play-by-play voice of LAFC. We have SDFC here. Adrian Garcia Marquez is our version of Dave Denholm. So here, as we go here it's June 2026 all the way through the beginning of July is going to be the World Cup with games played throughout all of North America. But Dave, you look at Team USA, and in years past, it's been, okay, if they don't get past the group stage, if they don't get into the knockout round, it's time to pull the plug, fire everybody, and get restarted. What is that number here this year? Is it just get out of the group stage? Is it get into the knockout round? What is the number for Team USA in terms of games won, in terms of rounds gotten to, before it's considered a disappointment?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're the host, and it's going to be such a massive tournament, and you have that hosting kind of responsibility, but you also have that, you're at home. You don't have the crowds are all behind you. You don't have to worry about that. It's going to be an amazing event. You should go a long way. I mean, I think this team can win the World Cup. I really do. Now, look, people will laugh at that. Who has the U.S. not beat in soccer? What country has the United States not beaten at some point? This team, I think this roster is going to be very good. They're all very experienced players. Now, look, they got to go out and do it. But I think this team can make a very deep run. I really do. I would expect nothing less, honestly, than a round of 8. And depending on the matchup, I mean, you should really have no problem advancing in this tournament a deep way with all the things that are in your favor in this tournament. Now, I would say the same, quite frankly, about Mexico. They might be a little more kind of up in the air with their roster. But I think they should make a deep run. I think Canada will do fine. I think Canada's still kind of building. People are overestimating them a little bit. I think they're a little overrated, and yet going in the right direction too. This should be a very interesting tournament for these 3 hosts. I really believe that.
Argentina obviously won the last World Cup. I know Messi's undecided on coming back for this one. What's your team, though? If you had to pick one team, maybe it's too early, that you should be the favorite to win the whole World Cup?
Well, I don't know how anybody stops Spain on any given day, frankly. I mean, I know that's an easy call, but that's why they're so good. That's why they will be one of the favorites, in my opinion. And Lamine Yamal, this could be his kind of, it'll be his real first look at a world tournament. I mean, obviously he's done well in the Euros and everything else. The kid's only, oh my gosh, he's so young. It's ridiculous, but he's that good. And I really think Spain, to me, is my favorite. Now, they also happen to get a group where they won't really have too much problem coming out of there. They could have some more issues in the knockout games against some tougher teams along the way, certainly. But I really feel like Spain, and, look, there's no team that I'm going to name that's some major dark horse. I think Spain has a really good chance. And I also believe that France, despite getting a tough draw with Norway in there, that was probably the worst team in terms of that pot who you wanted to draw. And Senegal will always give France problems. And then, of course, they have a playoff team in there. I think France has to also be looked at as those are the 2 favorites in my estimation. Now, if Lionel Messi decides to play, Argentina's right up there as well, no doubt.
All right, Dave Denholm, play-by-play voice of LAFC, plus the LAFC Plus podcast, is joining us here today. Now, Dave, the women's team was so successful in kind of capturing the imagination and the heart of the entire country when they went on their World Cup run, a decade and a half ago now at this point. But those were all became instantly recognizable names and faces throughout the entire country. On the men's team, you can go about Christian Pulisic, and then just the standard soccer fan doesn't go anywhere after that. Or the standard sports fan in America doesn't go anywhere after that. Who are some of those names that we could start to understand and maybe have it be household names moving forward?
Well, it's a very good question, because honestly, it isn't more of a team right now. I mean, Christian Pulisic is clearly the star, as you say, and yeah, he needs to carry a lot of the load, but this is a team, and there's a lot of guys who will be able to contribute. There's going to be a couple that break through that most of the people listening have never even heard of, frankly. There's a couple of guys from MLS who might have a big impact in that. So I think you're looking at, obviously, besides Pulisic, you're looking at a guy maybe like a Malik Tillman in the midfield. If he stays healthy, I think he can be a real factor. Obviously, I like Balogun up front. He can be real dangerous. And that, when you got a guy who, is going to do a lot of the goal scoring, if he gets hot, then he'll be certainly a name that people will begin to recognize. But I feel it seems like a cliche, but this is going to have to be a team effort. Guys like Tyler Adams, They're going to have to dig in. They're not going to get goals. They're not going to be in the score sheet. They're not going to get a lot of publicity. But he and even a player like Tanner Tessman, maybe a Christian Roldan through the midfield again, they're not going to score a bunch of goals, but they're going to have to be really, really good through the midfield to see this U.S. team go far in this tournament.
Dave, there was a lot made about Gio Reyna was kind of one of the young American stars, and Berhalter and him didn't really get along, didn't get to play a lot in some of the last World Cups. What do you see his role going forward? Could he kind of be that ace card for America that maybe people aren't talking about?
I mean, he can, absolutely. The talent is there. I think he's maybe the most talented American player right now, above everybody, even including Pulisic, in terms of just talent, just that physical ability. But the problem with him is it's just health. And I hate to say it like that. I mean, you don't know if a guy can stay healthy. He's not playing a ton for his club, so that's not a great thing either at this point. I don't think that's as big a factor actually than as maybe the health is, because I still think he can be very effective, even if he's not playing a ton for his club. He's just that talented, and the United States would have to use him if he's healthy. But it's really more about the battle for just staying healthy with him. He's never really had a great run of just constant health and really being able to put his best foot forward. And, that's going to be a big factor, no doubt, because the United States is not a team that is as deep as some of these other favorites, if you will. Spain goes 40, 50 players deep, frankly, before they really even have much of a drop off, in my estimation. France, same thing. You're talking 35, 40 players deep that can do the job. The United States is not that deep. They're going to have Reyna healthy, and that's just a major question mark. If I'm Mauricio Pochettino, you kind of have to feel like you really can't even rely on that necessarily. Like some guys, if they get injured, it's a bit of a fluke, and that's terrible, but they're not injury prone. Sadly, he has kind of had the career where he's really injury prone.
Dave Denholm. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see Dave. Excited for the World Cup. You can check him out. He is the play-by-play voice of LAFC. He also hosts the LAFC Plus podcast. And he talked earlier about how much he loves SDFC and how great they are for the sport of soccer and for the MLS and how
calm down. Don't ever call me again.
And he's so alike with David Vassay that we just love to have him on. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
I cannot remember who I'm talking to. Who are you guys again? Get out of here.
All right, we'll talk soon, man. Thank you for your time.
No, we won't. But yeah, you're welcome.
Dave Denholm. He is the play-by-play voice of LAFC. He also hosts the LAFC Plus podcast. Check him out there. Sammy's Long Shots coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Join San Diego Sports 760, ESET, SeaWorld, Cable Pipe and Leak Detection, and Crowley Car Company to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, you're going to hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. Make a donation today by texting SPORTS to 51555 or donate now at radyfoundation.org/giveathon. Tuesday, Wednesday, next week. Fun's not the right word, but very meaningful couple of days coming up next week. All right, right now it is time for Long Shots, where Sammy Long builds us out a daily fantasy sports lineup, completely legal here in the state of California. Sammy, you feel good about today?
I feel great. I will be finding some people have been asking to tail me on Prize Picks. I will find that out and give it to everyone so everyone can tail. Though this is the first day Prize Picks is allowed spreads, totals, and money lines. So you can't stack it in a parlay. You can kind of stack it in a parlay, but you cannot combine it.
You can't use that word though.
Player props. What?
You can't use that word. The P word.
Did I say so? No.
You're buying a contract, Sammy. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the one getting sued, so it's fine. So I got a parlay for everyone. I also have a pick, Fletch. I would like for you, while I am doing this, to come up with a selection. I have a point total pick that I'm going to give after my long shot. So be prepared. We're hitting money for the weekend, though.
Well, let's get it ripping. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that me and his man.
with Long Shots.
All right, Sammy, where are you going?
All right, we got a UFC pick, college football pick, and 2 NFL picks. We're going to start with the UFC. Merab Dvalishvili, more than 109.5 significant strikes. This fight's going the distance. Peter Yan, he's already fought him one time. Merab's too good. Like, Merab, listen, I don't love watching Merab. This is me personally. I know our UFC fans are going to say casual. You should love watching Merab because he's fantastic at what he does. It's not a shot at Merab. He is one of the best wrestlers in the game. He has some of the best cardio I think we've honestly ever seen from a UFC fighter. I mean, he doesn't slow down at any point in the fight, and we've really never seen him hurt to the point of where he's not slowing down. The over 4.5 rounds is actually a green goblin. That's how much they think he's going to go the distance. So we're going to change it a little bit, go more than 109.5 significant strikes. Petr Yan was a former champion of this division. Sugar Sean O'Malley actually beat him a few years ago. Kind of a controversial fight. Sugar Sean O'Malley landed the bigger punches, but Yan probably won more rounds in that. Hasn't been quite the same, been a little bit more on the uptick. I think he lasts. These veterans, they just don't go down. He's never been knocked out in his UFC career. So Merab, more than 109.5 significant strikes in that one. All right, let's go to college football.
Now, Merab is more of a wrestler than a striker.
Yeah, but he's ground and pound. Those count too.
I don't think significant strikes count on the ground. I think you have to be standing.
I think it does count on the ground, but we can find that out. Anyway, we're going more than 109.5. Trying to get after my long shots, Ben. All right, we're going college football. Ohio State, Indiana, Jeremiah Smith, more than 75.5 receiving yards. Now, the dirty little secret about this Ohio State offense with having Carnell.
Here's the ruling. Significant strikes do count on the ground only if they're considered power strikes.
Yes, so if you're bang, bang, bang.
You got to hit hard.
More than 109.5 significant strikes.
Okay.
I'm trying to jeopardize my stuff. It's going to hit, man.
I'm just saying.
Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver for Ohio State. Listen, Julian Sahan, Carlsbad kid, probably a lot of people listening familiar watching him grow up in San Diego. This offense, despite having Carnell Tate as well as Jeremiah Smith, have actually not been the big play offense they kind of were last year. Last year, it was all about they were hitting you downfield. You couldn't stay with them. Indiana is a defense. It's one of the best defenses in the country. They don't get dink and dunked on. It is the 11 big touchdowns they've given up this year, passing touchdowns, have come over like long plays. 6 of them have been 40 plus yards or more. I think even though Julian Sahan has been very getting the ball out of his hands in this game alone, I think they're going to open it up. I do think Ohio State has a little something to prove because even after Michigan, even after beating Texas, there's a lot of naysayers that go, are they really the best team in the country? Like, you look at their schedule, they beat Washington on the road. Where's the credentials? Well, this is a credential building win. I think Jeremiah Smith blows past 75.5 receiving yards more than for him. All right, on to the NFL. Buffalo, Cincinnati. I think Buffalo's going to be winning this game for a large part of it. Joe Burrow, more than 255.5 pass yards. He's getting T. Higgins back. The connection looked great there against the Ravens last week with him and Jamar Chase. He had 261 last week against Baltimore. Buffalo clearly does not believe in their secondary. That's why they tried to claim Darius Slay this week. Darius Slay is actually not reporting, thinking about retiring. So I think Joe Burrow has a big day playing from behind, passing more than 255.5 pass yards. Then we're going to go Patrick Mahomes. More than 22.5 rush yards. I'm concerned about my Chiefs offensive line. I'm very concerned for Sunday. Trey Smith, Jawan Taylor, doubtful. Star left tackle Josh Simmons has been ruled out with an injury. The Chiefs offensive line is going to be a patchwork job this week, and it's not a good sign when you're playing with maybe the best pass rush in the entire NFL. Mahomes going to have to get out of the pocket and pick up some of this rush yards by himself because the run game hasn't been there. Pacheco hasn't been the same. Kareem Hunt is 30 years old, and Brashard Smith is more of a receiving back. So Mahomes, more than 22.5 rushing yards. To recap, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State, more than 75.5 receiving yards. Murad Divashvili, more than 109.5 significant strikes against Peter Yan. Joe Burrow, more than 255.5 pass yards. And Pat Mahomes, more than 22.5 rush yards. Are you ready for your money line pick, Fletch?
Oh, it's a money line.
No,
pick.
you don't have to. It could be a spread too, or a total, whatever you want.
I had a player that I was going to go with.
Oh, okay. All right. What's your player?
Well, I don't know if everyone's seen the news, but Jaden Daniels is back this week playing against Minnesota. Terry McLaurin, 55.5 receiving yards, going more than.
I love it. That one. And then if you're looking to bet a little something with the new profile on Prize Picks, my favorite bet of the weekend, less than 45.5 points in Bears Packers. I think both teams, divisional rivalry. The Bears want to run the football, which drains a lot of clock. Micah Parsons already saying he feels disrespected by the Bears. Looking for a big game from him. I love me some Caleb Williams. I think he's got a chance to really grow into a superstar quarterback. His completion percentage has been one of the worst in the league. I don't think Green Bay is going to be able to let Chicago just run all over them. And I still have concerns, even though Jordan Love in his last 3 games, 6 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. As we saw last night against the Cowboys, the Lions' pass secondary is not very good. And that's kind of the susceptible part of their team. I think people are getting a little bit too high on the Packers after getting after him last week against the Lions. I think this is a lower scoring game, less than 45.5 points if you're looking for a straight play this weekend.
All right, I dig it. That was Long Shots with Sammy Long. Coming up in hour number 2, have we even highlighted a single game that's going to be played this weekend in the NFL? Not yet, we haven't. That's next at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is furnished by Genuine. Tonight in college football for the Sun Belt Championship, Troy will be taking on James Madison, as well as the American Championship, North Texas and Tulane, who will be vying. Three of those teams will be looking to get the last non-Power 5 spot in the college football playoff. Tomorrow, big slate of games, BYU, Texas Tech in the morning at 9 a.m., Georgia, Alabama at 1 o'clock, and right here on San Diego Sports 760, Indiana, Ohio State. Hear that game right here at 5 o'clock. The support has been furnished by Genuine.
Welcome to Fletch Zone. Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Into the Fletch Zone.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
The NFL weekend starts in Motown.
They give it to Jameer. Running outside. Got a blocker. Down to the 10. To the 5. To the end zone. Wave to him. He's gone, baby. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Lions get back on track. Conference championships will be decided, and we could find out where San Diego State will go bowling. Plus, the King gets shut down in Toronto. Let's get this weekend started from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, it's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Maybe the best decision I've ever made was making sure I could draft Jahmyr Gibbs in all my fantasy leagues this year. I got him in 3 out of the 4, baby, and he's been cooking all year long. 3 more touchdowns last night for the stud from Detroit, who's just been incredible to watch this season. Hell, I mean, Dallas put up an entertaining game. You give them that much. Their kicker just kicking record-breaking field goals from 40 years ago on a regular basis. That Brandon Aubrey, dude, do they test kickers for steroids? Because maybe they should start. All right, like I said, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. Steve Hartman's going to be jumping on at 1:30 for his weekly appointment with us. We'll try to make Steve make a 5-pick parlay once again, although one of them has not hit yet this season from Steve. But Sammy Long, you got big weekend plans? Because the wife and I are actually heading up the coast a little later, well, I guess tomorrow morning at like 2 a.m. To go up to San Luis Obispo for the first weekend I've had off in a long time. What do you got going on?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Nothing much. Coming back from LA today. Just probably going to kick it, watch a little football, and nothing too crazy.
Now, you will be live and in attendance when the Holiday Bowl teams are announced. Is that right?
Yes, I will. I will be there on Sunday morning. We'll see who is playing in the Holiday Bowl on January 2nd.
Now, without spoiling anything, and I won't, I don't know who the teams are going to be. I do know that Big Rich, TD, and Fletch are going to be part of some sort of promotional vehicle moving forward to the Holiday Bowl. So stay tuned for that. It's a social media thing that we've been working on. It's big, it's silly, it's awesome. So get ready for one of those. That's going to be coming soon within the next couple of weeks. But it's San Diego Sports 760 here. And before we get too far down the road and start chatting with Steve Hartman, I do think that this weekend holds a ton of importance in the NFL because you have a lot of movement that could happen specifically in the NFC side of the playoffs picture. So right now the Bears somehow, credit Sammy Long, are sitting atop the NFC with Ben Johnson shirtless and all in that run game that's really turned it on towards the end of the year in spite of quarterback play that has been, what would you say, Sammy, from Caleb Williams this year? Above average.
Above average with moments of special, but moments of what are we doing?
That's the perfect way to describe Caleb Williams. I think Bears fans would also say that the exact same way. And then you have the Rams and the Eagles, who the Rams have been great all year, but they're at 9-3 right now. The Eagles are the biggest confusion in all of the NFL to me because they look record-wise 8-4 in the year, first place in the NFC East, and at times look like the dominant Eagles who beat the Chiefs by like 40-something points in the Super Bowl a year ago. But at times the Eagles look super, super vulnerable, and they got a game this week against an AFC opponent in the Los Angeles Chargers who have playoff hopes of their own, meaning the Eagles can get jumped by a few NFC teams this week. And I, for one, am looking for that to happen because one of the teams that could be jumping them are my San Francisco 49ers, who are sitting on bye this week. Seahawks at 9-3, Packers at 8-3-1. They have the Bears this weekend in a huge game in the NFC. And then, like I said, the 49ers at 9-4 are on bye this week. So there could be a lot of shuffling here, especially in the NFC postseason picture as we look forward to this weekend where week 14 is shaping up to be a good one, Sammy.
Well, yeah, we just don't know. Like it's Philly, you give the benefit of the doubt for because they won it last year, but Philly hasn't really looked like a Super Bowl team all year. And I think for them, home field advantage is a really big deal. Like if it has to go through Philly, or they get to host one or two playoff games, I think they're still a real threat to win because the defense is for real and there's stars on offense. But the offense is so herky-jerky, it's hard to really think they're going to go 3 times on the road and get wins. Like the Rams, I know they lost to the Panthers. The Rams, though, I still think have the benefit of the doubt of if you had me pick a team today to win a Super Bowl of the bracket currently constructed, it would be the Rams. I think the Rams are the best blend of veteran talent as well as young talent and great coaching. The least amount of question marks are probably with the Rams, but outside of that, the Lions win last night. The Lions are a threat, but I don't think just getting a win over the Cowboys means that you're all of a sudden at the top because they're probably going to have to go on the road. The Niners have injury concerns. We just got into the Eagles. The Bears haven't been there before. So them winning a division, they could maybe win 1 or 2 playoff games. I don't know with that inconsistent of a passing game and the defense being so turnover reliant, they're going to get to a Super Bowl. And the Packers are hard because some weeks the offense looks great. And then some weeks because they don't have a number 1 receiver, they have a lot of number 2s. They can't really get it going. So, and then Seattle hasn't been there either. So it's like, it's completely wide open, a lot like the AFC. I'm very curious, like the Vegas odds when the NFL playoffs start, if you bet on a team from the wild card picture, I think this is as good a year as any where you can find some value later down the list of teams to win a Super Bowl than years before.
I would also say the Chicago Bears, who are currently in first place in the NFC North and first place in the entire NFC, have a legit shot to miss the postseason this year. Have you looked at their schedule the rest of the way? Because it's brutal. They got the Packers this week in Green Bay, and then they're hosting the Browns next week. And you say, well, it's the Browns. The Browns have the number 2 defense in all of football. They just haven't been able to score points. What are the Bears going to do who have an offense that's so heavily dependent on the run game and hope for special moments, like Sammy said, from Caleb Williams, who he's capable of them, but at times this year has gone just as incredible the opposite way. And then they have the Packers again. Then they have the 49ers in San Francisco. Then they have the Lions to close out the season. There's a real shot there. The Bears go 0-5 over their last 5 and miss the postseason.
They're not going 0-5.
All right, where are the wins there?
First off, they're splitting with the Packers. That's number 1.
Maybe.
The Browns.
Those are even games, Sammy.
Do you think the Packers are going to sweep them both?
I think the Packers have a shot to sweep them both.
Yeah, they're not going to sweep them both. They're splitting there. They're beating the Browns. I think the Niner game's a complete toss-up, and the Lions are too inconsistent. The Bears, if they go 2-3, are going to be
right, but there's a real shot that Lions-Bears game determines which one of those 2 teams goes to the postseason.
That's fair, but I think the Bears showed something in Philly. I would have heard that a week ago. When you looked at the schedule and you're like, their best win is against the Steeler team with no Aaron Rodgers, but going into Philly and manhandling them, like 281 rushing yards, that's impressive. That's not just fluky, got a couple turnovers, something like that. Like they flat out beat Philadelphia. I don't see the Bears missing the playoffs.
All right, here's the deal. With a win this week, the Bears have a 92% chance to make the postseason. With a loss, it's at 67% chance to make the postseason. And that's because they still have so many games left in their own division. And mind you, the last place team right now in terms of the wild card in the NFC has 9 wins. That's as many as the Bears have right now. So everything is so tight right now that it's completely up in the air still in the NFC. All right, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 2. If you missed the news, our text line is back, 70470. Start your message with team. I'll give Sammy a ton of credit. For the last week and a half, he has been emailing everybody across the country trying to get the text line back. It is back, so why don't we give some props to Sammy on the text line.
I need to hear from the people.
70. Start your message with the word team. Sammy, big 3, hour 2, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Steve Hartman coming up in 20 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Sammy, where are we starting with hour 2?
Starting in the NFL, Colts, Jags on Sunday, both 8-4, 2 teams going in different directions. Jags winning their last few games. Colts, number 1 seed for a lot of the season. Three of their last 4 games have been losses. Who has the higher upside in the playoffs, though, between those 2 teams?
Give me the Jags by a nose hair. I actually think they're very similar teams at this point in the season, not just because they have an identical record, not just because they both play in the AFC South. And this game, by the way, will go a long way into determining who wins the AFC South this year. But I think they're similarly constructed. Like Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence, it was a joke last season because throughout the first few years of their career, their stats are identical. But look at them this year. They've been very similar quarterbacks once again, just in a positive direction. This is the best year of Trevor Lawrence's career, in my opinion, and he could keep that thing rolling. This is a statement game for whoever wins this one, and whoever wins this game, Sammy, between the Colts and the Jags, I firmly believe is a problem in the AFC postseason.
Really? You see, I'm the opposite. I think either team's getting bounced in the first round. I think the most dangerous team, we're going to get to them next, actually is Houston. If Houston gets in well, first off, the Chiefs get in, they're way more dangerous than either of these two teams. But the Texans in that division are way scarier of any of those three teams. And now, to answer the question, it's going to be Jacksonville, because I believe in Trevor Lawrence a lot more than I believe in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones dealing with an injury in his leg, which is going to create less mobility for him. You saw that with the Chiefs game, especially 2 weeks ago, when this team runs through Jonathan Taylor. When a team takes away Jonathan Taylor, and they're not going to be able to run Jonathan Taylor the entire playoffs, just running roughshod over everyone, which they were able to do the first 2 months of the season. Sauce Gardner's hurt. We don't know how long he's out. I think the Colts are going downhill. Jacksonville, I think, is an opportunity. Travis Hunter injury sucks because he was kind of starting to come along with the team. Brian Thomas hasn't been great, but you saw the emergence. A couple other guys in that receiving core, getting Myers from Vegas. I think I would believe in Trevor Lawrence more, but I think the most dangerous team in that division is the Texans. Speaking of the Texans Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs playoff odds on the line. The season's on the line for the Chiefs. Kind of for the Texans, too. Texans need to win this game as well if they want to stay in the hunt. Jeff Saturday, though, earlier this week, made a statement that Patrick Mahomes' legacy will be severely affected if he does not make the playoffs this year. Do you agree with his take?
I disagree. I understand what Jeff Saturday is saying. He's saying, look, if you're on the dominant team of the decade, you need to be in the postseason each and every single year. I don't feel that way. Now, Patrick Mahomes, God, Sammy, I almost want you to cover your ears for this, is not the biggest problem with this Kansas City Chiefs team. Like, you'd be hard-pressed to go to any single Chiefs game and say, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the reason they lost this game. It's just simply not the case. Now, they're 6-6. They have a 12% chance to make the playoffs if they lose this game against the Texans. But consider this. 3 of the Chiefs' offensive linemen probably aren't going to be playing in this game. I cannot believe I'm in a situation right now where I'm making excuses for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the defense has been the most disappointing part for me for the Chiefs all year long. It just has not been there. They've not been able to have that clutch gene. And I honestly think Steve Spagnuolo has been a worse coordinator this year than he has been in years past. So I look at the Kansas City Chiefs as the team that'll be right back next year. But if you want to ruin Patrick Mahomes' reputation over 1 year, you can kind of kick rocks. The dude's been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
I mean, it's a horrendous take.
It's a horrendous take.
One of the worst things I've ever heard in my life from Jeff Saturday. That's embarrassing. The Chiefs have problems. Patrick Mahomes is not one of them. Patrick Mahomes last week, if you watched the Cowboy game, had 261 yards passing and 4 touchdowns and no picks. Rasheed Rice dropped the ball over the middle of the field. The defense couldn't stop a cold. I disagree with you on Spagnuolo. I think it's more about the pass rush actual talent. I think that there's no one outside of Chris Jones that is performing well. Karlaftis had a way worse year. Amena, who's nowhere to be found. I think there's just less talent on this defense around him. In the running game, I put a little bit on Brett Beach. Could have had Breece Hall for the right price. You don't make that deal, and now you're relying on Kareem Hunt, who has completely outperformed his minimum contract, but he's 30 years old. Pacheco's not the same. So this is somehow a shot to Mahomes. The Chiefs have issues, and the Chiefs very well might not make the postseason. That's what it looks like. If they lose this game, they're done. I don't care about the 12%. They'll be done if they lose this game on Sunday. But somehow that this is Mahomes' fault. I mean, Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl wins. He's been to 5. But what does that say about any other quarterback in the league if Mahomes' legacy takes a massive hit because of one game? I think that was just a silly take from him.
Silly take indeed. Now, with the Chiefs potentially missing 3 offensive linemen going into this weekend, facing against what has been the best or second best pass rush in all of football this year in the Houston Texans, how do you feel about this game, Sammy?
No, I'm nervous. I don't feel good about it. It's it is the worst time to be playing this kind of team. Like, Mahomes going to be running for his life back there, especially if Wanya Morris is starting at right tackle and Will Anderson's lined up. It could be a long night. Now, I think the defense will play better than they did against the Cowboys. They're at home. They were terrible. They usually respond pretty well. Listen, I think it's a pick'em game, but it's concerning. It's really concerning heading into this week. Third
Everybody, we've gotten our hopes.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Third story of the day. Let's head to the college football playoff, college football championship weekend. heading all over the weekend. Should Alabama, though, the question is this: SEC championship game, Alabama taking on Georgia. Alabama barely escapes with a win over Auburn last week. Should Alabama be a lock for the playoff, regardless of the outcome of the SEC championship game, when you have Notre Dame and then Miami on the outside looking in?
I got a feeling Georgia's going to win this game by quite a bit, and I do not think Alabama should be a lock for the college football playoff. However, I think regardless of how this game goes, Alabama will be in the college football playoff. Just the broken system of the NCAA at this point. All right, we'll save Sammy's answer for the other side. Plus, we just got a text from our buddy SoCal Jayhawk that I love. I love this take from him. We'll get to it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Steve Hartman coming up at 1:30. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear from Steve. And right now it's number 1 versus number 2 with the Big Ten title on the line tomorrow night when Ohio State battles Indiana. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 4:45 tomorrow night. All right, the text line is back, 70470. Start your message with team. We went a couple days without it, but there must be some real Chiefs hatred on the text line because somehow I have been logged out, and Sammy now is the only one with access to it. So, Sammy, I saw this text from SoCal Jayhawk coming in, and I thought it was fantastic. You want to read it for me?
Yeah, SoCal Jayhawk, do the 2 teams from last year's Super Bowl have the least identity in the league this year?
So he'd be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. And when you put it through that lens, I think he's spot on, man. Like, what is the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles, who a year ago, it was run the ball with Saquon Barkley, out tough everybody, make the game a field possession or a field position and time of possession battle. And the Philadelphia Eagles were better at it than anybody in football. And then when it got to the biggest game of the year, oh, guess what? They have a quarterback who could throw the ball down the field as well in Jalen Hurts. This year, we have seen little to none of that from the Philadelphia Eagles outside of a tush push here and then. But the record reflects it. They're 8-4 when they probably should be at least 10-2 at this point with the roster that the Eagles have. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, man, for a decade now, a little less than a decade now, the identity has been Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, along with Andy Reid, will find ways to win close games. This year, it's been the complete opposite. All they've done is lose the close games. Are they up to 0-7 now in games that are decided 1-6 in games that are decided by 7 points or fewer? Like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles both have seemed to lose their way from the 2 teams who we've seen earlier in this decade dominate everybody in football.
I agree with the sentiment. I think SoCal Jayhawk is 100% right. It's starting with the Chiefs. That's why it's frustrating because there's times when your team is just bad. Like they don't have talent and you're like, all right, they're not very good. There's times this year where the Chiefs have looked like earlier on in the year when they were on a 3-4 game win streak, they look like the best team in football. They were number 1 in Super Bowl odds, and then there's something not there, and they can't close out games. We've seen it time and time again. The only game that they've been able to close out was that Colts game when they had an 11-point comeback in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys, they didn't do it. Denver, they made massive errors at the end of that game. Buffalo, same thing. The Chargers, back to Philly. They all come down to certain plays. Jacksonville was one of the most egregious of all. The Chiefs completely let that game slip through their hands, and that's why they're looking at where they are, where they have to win out to even be in this thing. It's the talent is there, but I think you're starting to see with the Eagles and the Chiefs, some of what's been before of Chris Jones just holding down the pass rush. And obviously Kelsey's been actually good the last month or two, but it hasn't been the same player. He's getting older. Some of the stars around Mahomes are aging out a little bit, and you've needed some of the other pieces to step up, and they just haven't. I think that's why at the end of these games they haven't won. And with the Eagles don't make any sense. I think the Eagles is more coaching than talent. I think Andy Reid knows what he's doing. I think Nick Sirianni, if they had a different head coach, it's hard because he won a Super Bowl. He beat Andy Reid in a Super Bowl last year. He's been at 2. It was hard to call Nick Sirianni a bad coach, but I think when you're covered up with having the best GM in all of football and Howie Roseman, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, these guys, like this should not be a narrative all year that A.J. Brown is pissed off about not getting targets and going on Twitch streams. This wouldn't happen with Mike Tomlin or Andy Reid or the Harbaugh brothers or Kyle Shanahan, but it does with Nick Sirianni because he doesn't have control of this team. I agree with SoCal Jayhawk. I think they have 2 of the least identities in football, which is why what Mahomes said last week, the Chiefs can beat anybody in football and they can lose anybody in football. I think the same can be said about Philadelphia, which goes back to a lack of identity.
Good stuff, SoCal Jayhawk on YouTube. Our buddy FedEx Trey is not happy with me. He's a Bears fan. He says LMAO 0-5. Okay, man, keep believing it's the same old Bears. Went 5-0 in November. Now it's going to go backwards. Sure, man. All right,
yeah, they're not FedEx Trey. They're not going on 5. I'm with your Bears.
2 games against the Packers, 1 game against the Lions, 1 game against the Niners, 1 game against the Browns, and the Bears need probably 3 of them to feel comfortable in the postseason. I'm gonna say they're not going 3-2. How about that?
They're splitting with the Packers. They're beating the Browns, and they're beating either your beloved Niners or the Lions.
We'll see. 2-3 is much more likely in my eyes than 3-2, and hell, 1-4 might be the most likely outcome for the Bears over the next 5. We'll see how it goes. FedEx Trey, if you want a burrito bet, you can jump in on the lifelong never gets paid off bet between me and Sammy Long. I'd be happy to do that with you as well. All right, Steve Hartman on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Taco Bell. Lake Show taking on the Celtics side at 4 o'clock. Boston is a 7.5-point favorite. LeBron and Luka will both be missing the game, so it is the Austin Reeves Show in the college football championship weekend. Got a bunch of good games on the slate. You got BYU, Texas Tech playing for the Big 12 championship game. Georgia, Alabama. Georgia's a 2.5-point favorite in that one. Indiana, Ohio State. Hear that one right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 5 o'clock. Ohio State is a 4-point favorite with the point total set at 47.5. Taco Bell's Lux Craving Boxes give you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites. $7 gets you the fancy stuff. And $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Big weekend here on San Diego Sports 760. Tomorrow you can hear the Big Ten championship game right here. Ohio State and Indiana. Hear it here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, just like he does every single week, Steve Hartman is here. Steve, happy holidays to you and the family. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Fletch. And should we now address Sammy as Mr. L.A.? How are you, Sammy?
Steve, what's up, dude? I'm in your old neck of the woods, 570.
Is that where you're hanging out? Wow. So your dad let you in the building. Did he give you the big studio to use by yourself? Did you kick out Petro some money and all the other gang over there to basically have your own studio?
No, I'm in the Clipper studio, which is a little gross. They put me in the side one. I'm delivering a car to Kogo. That's why I got sent up here, this old dirty van that I'm driving down today.
Wow. Well, it's amazing, Fletch, isn't it, that Sammy is even out and about in public with his Chiefs right now, settling in at 6-6. I know we're probably going to have some picks later on, but to welcome in, knowing that, again, you've got 4 teams ahead of the Chiefs in the standings they've already all lost to. So that doesn't help in tiebreaker situations. But they need to win out, and they need help. I mean, help. And now you get to host the number 1 defense in the NFL, the Houston Texans. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, Sammy.
And, Steve, 3 of the offensive linemen for the Chiefs, I think one's officially out. 2 of them are questionable. Is that right, Sammy?
Doubtful.
Oh, doubtful, which is even better than questionable. All right, Steve, let's actually start in the NBA because LeBron James, for the first time since what I'm calling BO before Obama, LeBron James scored less than 10 points in a game. Is the sky falling? Is LeBron washed? Should he just hang up his jersey and sneakers now?
All right, so Fletch, I'm going to take a very different tact on this because, as you know, I had said he was going to play his last game as a Laker, and that didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen was they couldn't make a deal that he was going to. No one wants him, and so look, they're paying him over $50 million a year, and they laid down the ground rules. This is Luka's team. Austin Reeves is now the number 2 option. You got 2 of the top 10 scorers in the NBA. So if you're going to play, you're going to be a facilitator first. Now, understand this is the first time in his basketball life that he hasn't been the guy ever, much less the third wheel on the team. And the fact that he has accepted that role, I mean, he said at the end of the game when people asked him about the end of the streak, and he said, hey, we won the game. That's the only thing that matters. And it was his assist to Rui Hachimura to set up the game-winning 3. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I am surprised that LeBron has accepted his role as the third wheel on this Laker team. But if you're a Laker fan, the most important thing is they're winning, and it's working right now. So if he can stay in his lane and continue to do what he's doing on the offensive end, I mean, he's limited on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, if he's going to be a facilitator and watch Luka and Austin Reeves average 30-plus points a game, this could work. So far, so good.
Steve, I don't know that that's ever happened before in my entire career. The way you just answered that question was almost word for word something I said earlier today, and we never agree. Not like that.
Well, I mean, we have to call it for what it is. I mean, there are people out there that will never say anything nice about LeBron James. And I get it. Not everybody is a LeBron James fan. But when you are the king, self-proclaimed, and certainly one of the top 3 players that have ever played in the NBA. I'll leave it at that. To accept this third wheel role with the Lakers in an effort to help them win says a lot about where LeBron is in his life right now. A lot of players of his level, and there aren't many that have been on that level, can accept that. But he has accepted it so far. Will it continue? We'll see. But so far, he's staying in his lane. Austin Reeves goes off for 44 points. Luka takes the game off for his baby. And they went on the road against a good Toronto team. That doesn't happen if LeBron doesn't play the role he's playing right now. So call it for what exactly it is. It's working.
Steve, I want to ask you about, so Austin Reeves drops 44. The Giannis news comes out this week about him potentially becoming on the move at the trade deadline. Where do you think Giannis should go? And if they're willing to do a deal for Austin Reeves and picks, would you trade him if you're the Lakers?
No. Look, there's no arguing Giannis top 3 players in the league. I mean, his numbers are beyond belief. Okay. And I understand his frustration in Milwaukee. But if I'm Giannis, I don't want to come to the West. I want to stay in the East. Miami to me would seem to be a great destination for him. I just, again, you're looking for the best path to get to the NBA Finals, the best path for you to possibly win an NBA championship. You do not want to be on the same side as Oklahoma City. That team's not going anywhere. I remember at the end of last year, and everyone was sort of ripping the Thunder for their rather blasé attitude about winning the championship. They were blasé like, we'll be back. And they're going to be back many times over the rest of this decade. So if you're Giannis, you don't want to come out West. No way. And again, you put that Laker uniform on, instantly you're being compared to everybody else. I don't see how he would mix all that well with Luka, to be honest with you. Reeves is a perfect complement to Luka Doncic. So, the Lakers have a little core right now. They're going to free up cap space, obviously, when LeBron leaves, and start building around that. And they have many years ahead with both Reeves and Doncic. So, no, if I'm the Lakers, sorry, we admire Giannis. He's an insane talent. But if you're Giannis, man, you want to stay in the East. Best shot to get to the NBA Finals.
All right, Steve, let's look at the NFL. The postseason picture, and Steve Hartman with us like he is every Friday. The postseason picture in the NFC. So the Bears currently sit atop the NFC with a 9-3 record, so 9 wins. What's crazy about that is the Niners currently have the final wild card spot in the NFC, also with 9 wins. It's a ridiculously close conference this year. But when you zoom in on the Bears a little bit and see that they have the Packers this week, the Browns and their defense next week, the Packers again the following week, the Niners, then the Lions, where do the Bears finish up? Are they still a number 1 team, even in their own division by the end of this year?
Well, I mean, they have 2 games with the Packers, so that's going to decide it right there. Just understand this. So, last night you had the Lions basically eliminate the Cowboys. I mean, everyone's getting all hyped up, about the Cowboys are out. Okay, folks, I got news for you. The Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs. Even as we sit right now, the Lions are still on the outside looking in. They're not even in the playoffs after the win over the Cowboys. But no, it's going to come down to those 2 games between the Bears and the Packers. That will decide the winner of the NFC North. Look, I know the Rams stumbled. They had an East Coast game against a Carolina team that played really good football. But right now, I still think the Rams are the best team on the NFC side, and probably the NFL. I know people are trying to elevate the Patriots. I'm sorry. I have nothing against New England, but their strength of schedule is not just last in the league. It's last by 3 miles. I mean, it's like 34% winning percentage this year of the teams they played so far. So I don't buy into the Patriots quite yet. I do think they would have a great advantage if they get that home field advantage. But no, I still think right now the Rams are the team to beat. But it's going to be, look, these, after this week, there are no more buys. This is the last bye week in the NFL, and then every team's going to have 4 games left. And we could sit here for hours trying to figure out all the different combinations in any one of these divisions. I mean, where does Seattle fit in? I mean, you talk about the 49ers. Where the Seahawks fit in? Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Sam Darnold can't play against the Rams. We saw it in their playoff loss in Minnesota last year. We saw it this year in his game against the Rams. So I don't count out the Seahawks either. again, it is parity. And I said this on the national show last week. When people say, well, who have they beaten? You know, questioning certain teams. And my answer to that is, who's anybody beaten? Who's anybody beaten? You tell me any team in this league right now, say, now that is a big time win. Not this year. It is parity around this league. And ultimately, it's going to come down to health and which team gets on the roll in the playoffs. The team is going to come away and win a Super Bowl.
Steve, if Mahomes and Lamar miss the playoffs in the AFC, are the Bills the favorite, even though they're going on the road, or do you think someone else should be the favorite in the AFC? Broncos or Pats? Someone else?
Sammy, I'm with you on this one. I don't know where you stand on that, but my thought is the answer is yes. I still think the Bills are the team to beat because you're going to have a lot of quarterbacks that just don't have any playoff experience or winning playoff experience. Look at Josh Allen's playoff record minus Kansas City, right? 0-4 against Kansas City. What's his record against everybody else? It's pretty much unblemished. So, I mean, he has one Achilles heel. That's been Mahomes and the Chiefs. They've had his number every single time. Take them out of the equation. If the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, if the Ravens don't make the playoffs, you know, what are you looking at? I mean, seriously, I mean, what are we looking at right now as far as the rest of the AFC concerned? Denver with Bo Nix, New England with Drake May. I mean, what are we looking at here? Justin Herbert, he's 0-2, two big playoff losses. If somehow the Chargers can survive without an offensive line through the end of their schedule. So, yeah, I mean, the Bills have looked terrible at times. I don't think their personnel is great, but they have a quarterback that has been there. And in these big moments, I would put more trust in Josh Allen than any quarterback, say Patrick Mahomes. And if Mahomes not in the playoffs, that puts him at the top of the class.
Steve, we got a note from our buddy FedEx Trey who says, I finally have a sports take that I agree with Steve Hartman on. Don't trade Austin Reeves if you're the Lakers. How about that, Steve?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's old age, what's happening to me right now. I feel like everything I'm saying is so on the money. Of course, I always think that, but yeah, I mean, why? I mean, it's working. Don't change it right now. And this is not to say that Giannis isn't a way better player than Austin Reeves, but maybe not for this team. And we got to give credit to JJ Redick. I mean, we laughed at that hiring. Redick is doing a good job, guys. Recognize it. He's doing a good job. Now, he's got a lot to prove in the postseason because he had the worst coaching performance in a playoff series I've ever seen in that disastrous loss to the T-Wolves last year. So he still has to prove it when the games really count.
All right, Steve, you ready for your games to pick?
I'm ready.
Okay, we got 5 of them for you. This is a tough week to pick. Lots of divisional matchups, lots of matchups with postseason implications here. So let's start in the AFC North. Steelers at Ravens. Ravens currently favored by 6 points. Give us your money line pick.
You know, if you had asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have definitely taken the Steelers because if you go over history, Mike Tomlin has had John Harbaugh's number. He has just had his number in games where there's no logical reason why the Steelers should beat the Ravens. Obviously, for both these teams, it's a must-win. The Steelers are staring at the possibility of their first losing season ever under Mike Tomlin. I don't think they survive. I'm still going to, and it's obvious, obviously. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 3 straight games without a touchdown pass or a rushing touchdown. That's going to change. I'll take the Ravens.
Okay, Colts at Jags, AFC South. This will go a long way into determining the winner of this conference.
Phenomenal game, guys. Phenomenal game.
Potential rain, too, I'll add.
You know what? The Jags have been just sort of hovering, and Cohen has done a really good job of getting that team and especially his quarterback back on track. Jacksonville at home. I'm going to go out on the limb. I don't love this pick, but I'm going to take the Jags at home.
Jags are 1.5-point dogs at home as well. All right, Bengals.
I understand that.
Bengals at Bills. Bills favored by 6 points. Potential snow in this game as we continue to go through this polar vortex or whatever they're calling it.
Well, I mean, after what the Bengals did last week, I mean, no one could have predicted that, right? I mean, I know Joe Burrow returned. He wasn't great. I mean, he was rusty. But actually their defense played a little better than I thought they would, which is insane much because they're awful. But yeah, I mean, I look at the weather situation is going to be horrific. And under those circumstances, I'm definitely taking the Bills at home.
Bears at Packers, big game. Packers favored by 6.5. Potential snow there as well.
All these people are giving me so much crap of giving any kind of credit to the Bears at all. I mean, look, the bottom line is you are what your record says you are. There's no hiding it. That's who you are. That being said, Green Bay at home, yeah, the Packers will win this game. It will be interesting to see, though, because, you're getting a sense now Micah Parsons is sort of getting, hot right now. I mean, all of a sudden he seems to be absolutely unblockable, and how Caleb Williams will react to that. But I think it's going to be a tight game, guys. I think it's a field goal game, but in the end, yeah, I think the Packers edge them out.
And Texans at Chiefs, 3.5-point favored are the Chiefs, and it's in Kansas City. Cold weather game, no snow.
I think the Chiefs are in deep trouble. I mean, I hate to say this. I mean, I don't want to just continue to rain, but have you seen the Texans' defense? They are number one in every single statistical category. And Fletch, you sounded the warning. The Chiefs are banged up on their offensive line. I just see Mahomes is going to be running for his freaking life in this game. And everyone keeps talking about the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense gave up 500 yards to the Cowboys.
So
Texans? Can the Texans generate any offense? I think it's going to be an extremely low scoring game. But I'm usually wrong with my picks, so I'm going to do Sammy a favor. Take the Texans to get the win on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs and eliminate the Chiefs permanently from any postseason consideration.
Steve, I wish you could see Sammy's face through all of that because he had about 9 different expressions.
You got to be happy I made that pick.
No, there were 9.
Oh, yeah, geez, easy, man. Yeah.
9 different expressions on his face. I'm pretty sure one of them was gas. Sammy, are you farting over there? What's going on?
No, I listen, Steve, I'm concerned about the offensive line too. I hope he's wrong. I hope that I'm not crying next week and my boys are done, but they're all fair critiques. I got to be honest.
Well, like I said, the Chiefs, even if they were to win out, and even Mahomes has conceded, I mean, he obviously knows math. He can add it up. The best they can do is 11-6. Even if they get to 11-6, they need help. They lost head-to-head to the Bills. They lost to the Jags. They lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Broncos. Teams ahead of them right now, they lose tie breaks. All these teams, I mean, yikes. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans in this game.
Steve, we got a jam. Thank you for your time, man. Appreciate you. Give the family our best and happy holidays, brother.
Yes, and Sammy, get out of L.A. You're a San Diego guy. Get out of L.A.
I'm coming back down tonight.
Branding you. Yeah, you better get out of there quick. I know San Diego. No one knows the back and forth better than me, man. You don't want to get that LA label under any circumstance. Get your butt out of LA and get back to San Diego now.
I'm excited to be back in San Diego tonight.
All right. See you later, Steve. Yeah, Thank you.
Better. All right. Love you guys.
Love you too. We'll talk to him next Friday at 1:30. We will close this thing up. Coming up next at San Diego Sports 760. All right. Much like Steve Hartman's time when he was on the air here in San Diego, he doesn't really pay attention to the clock. So we are out of time here. But Sammy, hell of a week, my friend. Good work. We'll see you back here in San Diego on Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a good weekend as well. I know you did a little San Luis Obispo trip.
Oh, yeah. We're heading up here in a couple hours. John Schaefer, Jim Russell are coming up next. Tomorrow, we got the Big Ten Championship right here on San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for everybody who was here this week. We appreciate the hell out of you, and we'll talk to you on Monday. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. John Schaefer takes the reins coming up next, along with Jim Russell and Brent Sperry. We'll see you all Monday.
Peace.